What's badly affected if the tyres are underinflated? Indicating. Changing gear. Parking. Braking. When mustn't you sound your vehicle's horn? Between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. in a built-up area. Between 11:30 p.m. and 6 a.m. on any road. Between 11:30 p.m. and 7 a.m. in a built-up area. At any time in a built-up area. What makes the vehicle in the picture environmentally friendly? It's powered by unleaded petrol. It's powered by diesel. It's powered by electricity. It's powered by gravity. Why have red routes been introduced in major cities? To help the traffic flow, to provide better parking, to allow lorries to load more freely, to raise the speed limits. What's the purpose of road humps, chicanes, and narrowings? To increase traffic speed, to reduce traffic speed, to separate lanes of traffic, to allow pedestrians to cross. What's the purpose of a catalytic converter? To reduce harmful exhaust gases, to reduce engine wear, to reduce the risk of fire, to reduce fuel consumption. It's essential that tyre pressures are checked regularly. When should this be done? After any lengthy journey, when tyres are hot, after travelling at high speed, when tyres are cold. When will your vehicle use more fuel? When its tyres are of different makes, when its tyres are overinflated, when its tyres are underinflated, when its tyres are new. How should you dispose of a used vehicle battery? Leave it on wasteland. Take it to a local authority site. Put it in the dustbin. Bury it in your garden. What's most likely to cause high fuel consumption? Accelerating around bends. Harsh braking and accelerating. Poor steering control. Staying in high gears. The fluid level in your battery is low. What should you top it up with? Distilled water, engine oil, engine coolant, battery acid. You're parked on the road at night. Where must you use parking lights? Where you're near a bus stop. Where there are continuous white lines in the middle of the road. Where the speed limit exceeds 30 miles per hour. Where you're facing oncoming traffic. How can you reduce the environmental harm caused by your motor vehicle? Keep engine revs low. Don't service it. Only use it for short journeys. Drive faster than normal. What can cause excessive or uneven tyre wear? A faulty braking system, a faulty exhaust system, a faulty electrical system, a faulty gearbox. You need to top up your battery. What level should you fill it to? The top of the battery, just below the cell plates, halfway up the battery, just above the cell plates. Before starting a journey, it's wise to plan your route. How can you do this? Look in your vehicle handbook. Contact your local garage. Look at a map. Check your vehicle registration document. Why is it a good idea to plan your journey to avoid busy times? You'll have an easier journey. Your journey time will be longer. You'll have a more stressful journey. It will cause more traffic congestion. You avoid busy times when travelling. How will this affect your journey? Your journey time will be longer. You're less likely to be delayed. You're more likely to be held up. You'll travel a much shorter distance. It can be helpful to plan your route before starting a journey. Why should you also plan an alternative route? Your maps may have different scales. You may find you have to pay a congestion charge. Your original route may be blocked. You may get held up by a tractor. You're making an appointment and will have to travel a long distance. How should you plan for the journey? Allow plenty of time for the trip. Plan to travel at busy times. Prevent other drivers from overtaking. Avoid roads with the national speed limit. What can rapid acceleration and heavy braking lead to? Reduced pollution, reduced exhaust emissions, increased road safety, increased fuel consumption. Which of these, if allowed to get low, could cause you to crash? Radiator coolant level, battery water level, antifreeze level, brake fluid level. What can cause excessive or uneven tyre wear? Faults in the gearbox, faults in the suspension, faults in the engine. What's the main cause of brake fade? The brakes overheating, the brakes out of adjustment, oil on the brakes. What should you do if your anti-lock brakes ABS warning light stays on? Check the brake fluid level. Have the brakes checked immediately. Check the foot brake free play. What does it mean if this light comes on while you're driving? The engine oil is low, a fault in the braking system, a rear light has failed, your seatbelt isn't fastened. It's important to wear suitable shoes when you're driving. Why is this? To enable you to adjust your seat, to maintain control of the pedals, to prevent wear on the pedals. What will reduce the risk of neck injury resulting from a collision? A collapsible steering wheel, anti-lock brakes, a properly adjusted head restraint. An air-sprung seat. You're testing your suspension. You notice that your vehicle keeps bouncing when you press down on the front wing. What? Worn shock absorbers. Worn tyres. Tyres underinflated. How will a roof rack affect your car's performance? There will be less wind noise. The engine will use more oil. Fuel consumption will increase. Which of these makes your tyres illegal? They have a large deep cut in the sidewall. They're of different makes. They were bought second-hand. They have different tread patterns. What's the legal minimum depth of tread for car tyres? 2.5 millimeters, 4 millimeters, 1.6 millimeters, 1 millimeter. You're carrying two 13-year-old children and their parents in your car. Who's responsible for seeing that the children wear seat belts? The front seat passenger. You, the driver. The children's parents. The children. How can drivers help the environment? By driving faster. By accelerating harshly. By using leaded fuel. By accelerating gently. How can you avoid wasting fuel? By revving the engine in the lower gears. By having your vehicle serviced regularly. By driving at higher speeds where possible. By keeping an empty roof rack on your vehicle. What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Travel by car at all times. Walk or cycle on short journeys. Drive in a bus lane. Use a car with a smaller engine. What's most likely to waste fuel? Driving on motorways. Using different brands of fuel. Reducing your speed. Underinflated tyres. What does the law require you to keep in good condition? Seat belts. Transmission. Door locks. Gears. Up to how much more fuel will you use by driving at 70 miles per hour compared with driving at 50 miles per hour? 10%. 75%, 100%, 30%. When you use the brakes, your vehicle pulls to one side. What should you do? Increase the pressure in your tyres. Have the brakes checked as soon as possible. Use your parking brake at the same time. Change gear and pump the brake pedal. What will happen if your car's wheels are unbalanced? The brakes will fail. The steering will vibrate. The steering will pull to one side. The tyres will deflate. Turning the steering wheel while stationary can cause damage to which part of your car? Brakes, engine, tyres, gearbox. You have to leave valuables in your car. What would it be safest to do? Park near a school entrance. Put them in a carrier bag. Park near a bus stop. Lock them out of sight. Which of the following may help to deter a thief from stealing your car? Etching the registration number on the windows. Always keeping the interior light on. Always keeping the headlights on. Fitting reflective glass windows. Which of the following shouldn't be kept in your vehicle? The car dealer's details, the service record, the owner's manual, the vehicle registration document. What should you do when leaving your vehicle parked and unattended? Park near a busy junction. Lock it and remove the key. Park in a housing estate. Leave the left indicator on. What will improve fuel consumption? Late and harsh braking. Driving in lower gears. Reducing your speed. Rapid acceleration. You service your own vehicle. How should you get rid of the old engine oil? Pour it down a drain. Tip it into a hole in the ground. Put it in your dustbin. Take it to a local authority site. Why do MOT tests include a strict exhaust emission test? To help protect the environment against pollution, to make sure diesel and petrol engines emit the same fumes, to discover which fuel supplier is used the most, to recover the cost of expensive garage equipment. How can you reduce the damage your vehicle causes to the environment? Use busy routes. Brake heavily. Use narrow side streets. Anticipate well ahead. What will be the result of having your vehicle properly serviced? Reduced insurance premiums, lower vehicle excise duty, better fuel economy, slower journey times. You enter a road where there are road humps. What should you do? Maintain a reduced speed throughout. Drive slowly at school times only. Accelerate quickly between each one. Always keep to the maximum legal speed. When should you especially check the engine oil level? When the engine is hot. Before a long journey. Every 6,000 miles. Early in the morning. You're having difficulty finding a parking space in a busy town. You can see there's space on the zigzag lines of a zebra crossing. Can you park there? Yes, if you don't block people from crossing. No, not under any circumstances. Yes, in order to drop off a passenger. No, not unless you stay with your car. What should you do when you leave your car unattended for a few minutes? Lock it and remove the key. Leave the engine running. Switch the engine off but leave the key in. Park near a traffic warden. When leaving your vehicle, where should you try to park? At or near a taxi rank. On a bend. In a secure car park, opposite a traffic island. Where would parking your vehicle cause an obstruction? Alongside a parking meter. On your driveway. In a marked parking space. In front of a property entrance. What's the most important reason for having a properly adjusted head restraint? To help you maintain your driving position. To help you avoid neck injury. To make you more comfortable. To help you relax. What causes the most damage to the environment? Choosing a fuel-efficient vehicle. having your vehicle serviced regularly, making a lot of short journeys, driving in as high a gear as possible. What can people who live or work in towns and cities do to help reduce urban pollution levels? Drive short journeys, over-rev in a low gear, drive more quickly, walk or cycle. How can you reduce the chances of your car being broken into when leaving it unattended? Park near a taxi rank. Place any valuables on the floor. Take all valuables with you. Park near a fire station. How can you help to prevent your car radio being stolen? Install a security-coded radio. Park near a busy junction. Leave the radio turned on. Park in an unlit area. How can you lessen the risk of your vehicle being broken into at night? Park in a quiet side road. Leave it in a well-lit area. Park in a poorly lit area. Don't engage the steering lock. Which of these will help you to keep your car secure? Vehicle Watch Scheme, Advanced Drivers Scheme, Car Maintenance Class, Vehicle Breakdown Organisation. On a vehicle, where would you find a catalytic converter? In the fuel tank, in the air filter, on the cooling system, on the exhaust system. What can driving smoothly achieve? Reduction in journey times by about 15%. Increase in journey times by about 15%. Increase in fuel consumption by about 15%. Reduction in fuel consumption by about 15%. Which driving technique can help you save fuel? Using each gear in turn, using lower gears as often as possible, missing out some gears, accelerating sharply in each gear. How can driving in an eco-safe manner help protect the environment? By increasing the number of cars on the road, through increased fuel bills, by reducing exhaust emissions, through the legal enforcement of speed regulations. What does eco-safe driving achieve? Increased exhaust emissions, increased fuel consumption, damage to the environment, improved road safety, you're checking your trailer tyres. What's the legal minimum tread depth over the central 3/4 of its breadth? 2.6 millimeters, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, 1.6 millimeters. Fuel consumption is at its highest when you're doing what? Coasting, braking, accelerating, steering. When is it acceptable for a passenger to travel in a car without wearing a seatbelt? When they're exempt for medical reasons. When they're under 1.5 meters, 5 feet in height. When they're under 14 years old. When they're sitting in the rear seat. You're driving a friend's children home from school. They're both under 14 years old. Who's responsible for making sure they wear a seatbelt or approved child restraint where required? An adult passenger. Your friend. The children. You, the driver. You have too much oil in your engine. What could this cause? Low oil pressure, oil leaks, engine overheating, chain wear. You're carrying a 5-year-old child in the back seat of your car. They're under 1.35 meters, 4 feet 5 inches tall. A correct child restraint isn't available. How should you seat them? Between 2 other children. Sharing a belt with an adult. Behind the passenger seat. Using an adult seatbelt. You're carrying an 11-year-old child in the back seat of your car. They're under 1.35 meters, 4 feet 5 inches tall. What must you make sure of? That a suitable child restraint is available. That they sit between 2 belted people. That they can see clearly out of the front window. That they can fasten their own seatbelt. You're parked at the side of the road. You'll be waiting some time for a passenger. What should you do? Use your headlights. Apply the steering lock. Switch off the engine. Switch off the radio. You want to put a rear-facing baby seat on the front passenger seat, which is protected by a frontal airbag. What must you do before setting off? Deactivate the airbag. Turn the seat to face sideways. Put the child in an adult seatbelt. Ask a passenger to hold the baby. You're leaving your vehicle parked on a road and unattended. When may you leave the engine running? Never if you're away from the vehicle. If you'll be parking for less than 5 minutes. If the battery keeps going flat. When parked in a 20 miles per hour zone